Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to work on our, let's see, so we've got those pieces done. Yeah, so our angled roof. And then, yeah, then it's just a stair and then we are pretty much done. Like these extra pieces, I'm not going to do a block out of those just yet, just because they are very basic and they're standalone props. So we'll do that later. Okay, so for our angled roof. Do we have maybe a little bit better reference for this somewhere? Yeah, like here in the back it sort of looks like... Oh well, yeah, we can, I guess, use these ones also. But I don't really want to use 3D reference just because I don't know their logic behind it. They might have had different logics behind things. So maybe like something like this is like quite a cool reference over here. Yeah, it just means that this is going to probably be like its own little pole, something like that. Because we need to be able to make this sort of modular. So let's just go ahead and let's use that one, for example, on here, just as like a test, for example, or maybe on here. Does not really matter too much. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to probably make it, yeah, probably like the same length as that. So let's just go and try something out. So I'm not sure what I want to do. So we have a balcony floor. Let's go ahead and duplicate that. Add this to a new collection. And I will call this collection, what was it? Angled overhead generic. Like this. And then for this angled overhead generic, I'm gonna make it a bit thinner. Maybe I actually do want to go ahead and just turn on increment snapping. And I want to snap it maybe like one further. And then like 1, 2 down. 2 down seems like quite a nice area. And then what we will do is, so we are going to create a few more pieces where we will go ahead and just create like one of these pieces over here. And also on the other side. Now I'm not yet sure actually if I'm going to do like the ornate pieces. For now I'm not going to do them just because I'm not sure if we even need those. That's more for when we start placing all of these blockouts into their actual position. That we kind of know like where do we need to add some stuff, do we need to improve some stuff like that. So angled overhead generic is what we're going to start with. And then we will also go ahead and just do like an, yeah, like one of these and then maybe like an extra beam. Let's do that. So we got this overhead. Let's file export FBX. That's generic. Let's export that. So first of all, we need to make sure that the angle is right before we do anything else. Let's go over here. Let's import this. Okay, so let's say that I just press height. So this is like a good use case, so because this is like a default thing. Let's say we grab like, we have like a building like this. We just basically move this up a little bit more. Yeah, it is only just above. So this is actually the correct angle. But then I can, for example, now see, and this is why we test, I can see that this is a little bit too far. So let's go ahead and let's make this, let's see, let's move it up once, in once. Because when you move it in, it also becomes a little bit more angled. So let's try this one. And let's see if that one works. So right click, re-import. Yeah, here, see, that looks quite nice. And then if we just go ahead, turn on my grid snapping. Here we go. So I'm just snapping this to my grid and then moving it like back into the center. Okay, so if I move it back into the center, I will most likely get a problem or not. Yes, I will most likely get a problem over here where we want to have this against it. So knowing that, I probably want to move this over here and then I probably want to just give it like a tiny bit. I do know that I will break my modular flow, but I think it is better if we just like give this a tiny bit of like an, turn off our grid snapping, of like a scaling back. This is pretty cool. So we are almost at the point where we can go ahead and we can actually see if this all works. So now we can also have like this one and just move it back. Here, see, so now we have everything fit a little bit better. So for this one, what we're going to do is I will go ahead and already do a Ctrl R. And I'll just make like a plank here a plank here and a plank over here. Let's go ahead and just do E and then move it down. Let's see, something like this. There we go. So this is just like a plank. If you want, you can also already just do like only select this one. And then do like an E and then maybe like extrude this out a little bit, like that. And now that we know that we have this one, now what we can do is just for a very basic, we create like a cube. Let's see, we just like scale this flat. Something like this, scale this in. That's the nice thing about the Western. So all of the shapes are often very simplistic on purpose, just because it's about just making everything very quickly. So this would be like a cube that we kind of like just push in here. That should be fine. So this one will be like pushed in there. And then it will have another cube, maybe a little bit thicker, but also not as wide. And this cube will kind of like just sit in here. Like that. And then how this will work is it will sit here just to the side later on. So we can just go ahead and do something like this. So if we have our angled balcony, let's go ahead and create a new collection and add these to this. Angled overhead support. Here we go. So this is the angled overhead support. Angled overhead support. Let's do that one over here. And let's just already import this. Where are we? There we go. Here we go. Let's go ahead and import this. Import all. And then you can just nicely move this in here. And we can like start by moving this like against it. Move it up. Like that. Then we can also just quickly re-export file, export, FBX. And we can go ahead and we can re-export our overhead generic. So we got that one done. And now for our balcony. So we have like a square beam. It would be cool if we maybe also switch it around for like a round beam. Or like over here they also have like two different ones. So it might be interesting if we see in here they also do that. So let's just grab like a basic cylinder and use that one. So for that I'm going to quickly turn on my plane wall short. Mesh, create a cylinder. Let's make it only like 18 sides or something like that. Doesn't need to be a lot right now. It's just throwaway work mostly. Move this like over here, maybe like scale it in a little bit more. Let's move this up. Actually, we can just do increment scaling over there. Here we go. So let's say that we have something like this. Let's turn off plane wall short. Maybe move it in a little bit more. And then what we can do is we can go ahead and we can duplicate this. And then for this version, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to press quick pivot in my Maxivis tools, which will quickly just center your pivot. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to scale this entire thing in. Move it out a little bit like this. And then what you can do is if you go into edit mode, you have another one. So you have your knife tool. If you press K, you have your knife tool. And let's press Alt X. Here, so okay, I can press my knife tool and I can actually just do something like that where I just basically cut it along. And if you do that, if you now go ahead and go to like face select, you can select these. And then if you just delete the faces. Oh, so my knife tool did not go all the way. That's unfortunate. That would have been nice. Normally, I can remember that normally it goes all the way, but then not. In that case, just do Ctrl R. There you go. It makes no difference pretty much. So delete all of this stuff. Come on, what's going on here? Let's go ahead and press Shift H. And Shift H, what it will do is it will just hide all the unselected objects. let's undo all of this stuff because I think something went a little bit wrong. So let's try that again. So here we can do like Shift H, although now doing a Shift H now doesn't really make any sense because I just need to make sure, here, see that it goes all the way around. So if I go ahead and if I then press Alt H to unhide everything, let's try that again. So Ctrl R, thank you. Ctrl R, thank you. That's all I wanted. Don't know why I didn't do that the first time. Let's select this, press Ctrl I to basically invert our selection and then delete all of these faces. And then what I recommend is here for the top, you can go ahead and just select the top and just scale flat and then do the same technique where you just press 0. And then for cylinders, you often kind of like need to like here bend them around a little bit. But we can, for example, here move this along here and then we can say, okay, so this is now exactly along. So I can now go in and also over here, I can also don't know what's going on here. My rotate all of a sudden decided to stop working, which is a bit strange. Oh no, wait, it's because I'm pressing E. Sorry, that's just me. It's because in object mode in Blender, you can press E to do like a rotate, but in here you need to do, what was it? Oh no, wait, here rotates also E. But it's also extrude. That is confusing. Shift E? No. That is very confusing. I think my shortcuts are messed up. Because normally rotate does not show up like that. If you ever have overlapping, I will just leave this in the tutorial because it can be good. So here the rotate sets to shortcut E. However, that is overlapping in here. But if we then go ahead and go to like our file and our preferences, it is overlapping with our extrude. So if we go in key map, type in extrude and we find the extrude in the edit mesh tab. So here mesh, extrude and move on normals. We can go ahead and we can do Alt E, for example. And I believe that now, here, see, now it does work. And now if I do Alt E, there we go. So then we can extrude. So it's a bit strange that I only now noticed that it was wrong. So, okay, fair enough. In any case, what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate this. We are going to go ahead and we're going to rotate this 180. Oops. It sets to 180. There we go. And move this over here to this side. And that should be enough for now. So we got this pole over here. We can go ahead and we can create a new collection and add it to here. And call this... what did I call the first one? Generic beam A. Generic beam B. Why not? And then we can go ahead and we can just export this. Generic beam B and export. There we go. So that should do the trick. If you now go ahead and go in generic beam B, let's import U. Yeah, import all, that is fine. So yeah, this one, of course, it will just work fine like this. I know that we've hidden it, but what I want to know about the generic beam B is that when we place it like this. Oh, that's interesting. Because of the spots, we don't need to have one very close. So we can kind of just like move it here. Move it down. And I will have it kind of close like this. Okay, so this will be sitting in front of it. However, most time, but that kind of just depends on the walkway. Like, how is this extending? If I go ahead and like move these ones closer, I feel like that then this piece over here would become a bit small. Yeah, maybe make it a little bit, maybe make it like a little bit smaller. So if we go to the overhead generic, maybe if we make it like a little bit smaller, like this. And let's start by just exporting this one. Yeah, so I think that will make it feel a little bit better. So Here we go. So that's like a little bit close together. Yeah, okay, that feels a little bit better. And then for these ones, what we need to do is we just need to go ahead and actually, for now it's fine. We will of course just make sure that that works later on. But for now that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and save our scene. So there we go. So we also now have the overheads done, which is pretty cool. So let's have a look. Top trim. You are a blockout. So I think we've got everything done. Oh no, wait, the walkway stairs. That's the one that we still need to do. And the walkway stairs will just be quite basic. So I'm just going to create like some stairs. And we will just use those. And let's do like 4 stairs or something like that. So let's turn this off. And for our stairs, if we just do mesh. Let's do like a cube. Let's have our... Where are you? Walkway straight also turned on temporarily. So that we kind of like know the scaling and everything of these pieces. You know what, let's move this. I feel like they would not leave that little bit of like a trim over, because then you can trip on it and fall. And although there probably wouldn't be lawsuits back then, it still would be a bit dangerous. Let's go for something like this. And then if we go ahead and let's see, we can try to use an array modifier and do like 4. And then what we can do is, oh, not that one. Here we can do this. So then we kind of like step it down. And if we now go to like our, where are we, front view or something like that. Here we can kind of like move this down. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Press Ctrl A. And now if we just go ahead and also create like very quickly something in between here. And in most of the time it would just be, here, let's duplicate this. Let's go ahead and go to edit mode and just press 4 to select this one. Ctrl I and just delete everything else. And now if we just go ahead in vertex mode, I can just go ahead and I can like basically select these pieces. Oh, maybe this one would be good to snap to the ground. Or not exactly the ground, but snap somewhere. And now if we go to face mode, if we just go ahead and do like a Ctrl R, we can place the Ctrl R here. Oh, Alt E. Now, see, now I get confused about those shortcuts again. And that's why I don't like using shortcuts. Because it's only for very obvious things. Like I guess extrude is one of the obvious ones. But you've already seen me spend multiple times where, because I'm using multiple programs, it gets quite annoying. And it is something you should actually keep in mind. Because if you are a professional artist, you will be using multiple different programs. Although the modeling program will most of the time be one. So I am a special case in that one, that I need to use 3 different modeling programs. So Max, Maya and Blender. But that's just for teaching. For personal projects, although I started with 3ds Max and I still prefer 3ds Max, I'm currently trying to switch to Maya, also for personal projects. Which is just because, yeah, I just like it. But in any case, the reason that I'm telling this is that there is some reasoning behind not always using very specific shortcuts. In any case, do edit pivot, vertex, snap it to that one, set this all to 0. There we go, and then we can go ahead and we can add a new collection. Walkway underscore stair. And having this one, we can go ahead, export FBX. Walkway underscore stair. Here we go. And now if we go in here, we can import it. And we can go ahead and add this one. Looks, I feel like something is here, see? Looks like I already saw it happening, that the normals are inverted. I don't know exactly why that happened for this one, but just select everything by pressing A in edit mode. And just do a quick Shift N. And doing that Shift N, should immediately fix everything. So you can see it from the thumbnail. Oh, hello. No. Face orientation. What do you mean no? You are totally fine. Let's go ahead and press Q. And let's just reset all of our transforms just by pressing the apply button trick. Are you still? Aye, here. So that's a good one. So object, apply, and all transforms. As I said, sometimes things mess up a little bit. And then it's great to just quickly try that out. So walkway stair, and now it should work. There we go, a bit more logical. And then we basically place this here. And whenever we have like a small stair, we do this. Or basically we can just do like something like this over here for small bits. And then if we ever have like a higher stair, like over here, we can go ahead and we can, for example, grab this. And we can just move this out. And then we instantly have like a higher stair. So that's a nice thing about just sinking stuff in here. Like that. And then over here, same thing. You can just go ahead and just have another one there. Okay, perfect. So we got our blockouts done. And as you can see, we can pretty much create quite a bit from this. With a grand total of 22 items, that's not that many objects in order to basically create an entire town. Of course, we might want to change some stuff around and everything, so don't worry about that. But these are like our main objects. One thing to keep in mind for our plain walls, we have like 1, 2, 3 plain walls. The double-sided wall I'm gonna get rid of. So that one I will actually not be using. So the double-sided wall we will get rid of, so that's already 21 objects. The 3 plain walls you only need to make 1. And then to the rest, that's only like... so yeah, that makes like 19 objects. And we can reuse a bunch of different pieces. So in the end, honestly, modeling wise, we are pretty good. We can really put our focus on texturing and make sure that everything looks amazing. And doing like the lighting and the terrain and everything. So this is looking great. Okay, in the next chapter, what we will do is I will actually leave this off by just setting the double-sided wall back to a plain wall short over here. And maybe like moving this forward a little bit and then duplicating it and moving it back. Like that. And then what we can do is if we save our scene, we can now safely remove our double-sided wall. Like that, so that we do not get confused with that. Perfect, okay. Having these pieces. What I like to do to leave off this chapter is I like to go into my materials. Right click and just create a very plain material. So create a material and just call this like plain. And this plain material will just have like a color. So if you open it up, we will go over materials way more in depth later on. But for now, simply right click and just trust me. Add a constant tree vector. Right click, type in constant and then you can find it. And set this to be a slightly darker gray color. Like this. And then just press save. Because what I want to do is I want to, for all of these pieces, I just want to quickly add this color. Now if we go ahead and just open up our pieces, which I can see is a little bit annoying to do it all one by one. But then we have full control over all of our colors as like a base. And I prefer it that way because I do not like to look at the squares. Or the square texture when we have not yet textured anything. Or done any UVs or anything like that. So I basically go in here. And after this it will be quite quick to add our material. Your PC might run a little bit slower when you open up this many models. So basically if you now go to your materials. Click once on your plane. You can go to every mesh and you can basically go ahead and just press the little button. And then you can close it. So here I can also press the little button and it will autosave. So it's easier if I do it over here. Close, press, close, press, close, and you get it. So that's why everything will automatically be added. And then all we need to do is we need to press save once on everything at one go. So just press save all. And that should do the trick. And then in the next chapter, what we can do is we can start by actually building our city and make it look very nice and interesting. And then we can immediately see what we are missing in terms of like our blockouts. And we can also just get like a feel for our environment. So that one will actually be quite a big chapter. And with the chapter, part of it will be time-lapsed. So, but as you can see over here, now we have this. And what we can do is we can always go in here and maybe like make it a bit darker. Press save. Here we go, a bit darker. So now this is a little bit nicer to just preview everything. Okay, perfect. So we got all of this done. In our next chapter, I will go ahead and I will show you, and we will start by just creating this one street over here. And then in the time lapse, we will do the other street. And of course, our terrain, we cannot yet do too much of our terrain until we have our materials and everything. So that will be the next focus. The next focus is actually going to be creating all of our materials. And once we've created all of our materials, it's much easier for us to then create our final models. So let's go ahead and continue with that in our next few chapters.